Between two heartbeats, the train advanced with a constant rhythm, interrupting the silence of the early morning. Elena looked out the window, letting her reflection mix with the landscape that disappeared at full speed. He was carrying a small suitcase, enough for a weekend, although in his heart he felt he was escaping from something much bigger than a city. He had left Madrid behind, and, with it, to Daniel. Daniel, the man who for the last 5 years had been his refuge and his torment. The calm and the storm. He remembered the previous night like a heartbreaking echo. The discussion in his small apartment. The confession that he had made with a mixture of desperation and courage. "I can't keep hiding it from you, Elena," said Daniel, his gaze fixed on his trembling hands. I am in love with someone else." Elena had felt the ground open beneath her feet. Her love, the man for whom she had left everything, confessed that his heart belonged to another person. No L. He felt pain in his chest at that moment, as if something essential had been ripped from him. Instead, he got up, picked up his coat, and before leaving through the door, whispered, "Thank you for telling me the truth, Ad. I wish you had said that before." And now she was there, on that train that was taking her to a small town on the coast, a place where she hoped to find herself, away from the shadows of Daniel and of betrayal. But life, capricious and full of irony, had other plans for her. Upon arriving at the station, the salty sea air welcomed her like a balm. She walked to a small inn Ande had reserved a room. The owner, an older woman with bright eyes, smiled warmly at her. "Welcome, dear. You're going to like the town. Here people come to forget or to start over." Egg. Elena nodded, although she wasn't sure which of the two things she was looking for. That night, while walking along the beach, she heard a melody coming from an old bar near the port. Intrigued, he followed the sound until he found a small stage where a man was playing the piano. His fingers glided across the keys with an almost magical precision, and his voice, deep and full of option, filled the place. Elena sat in a corner, trying to go unnoticed, but she couldn't avoid her eyes meeting his. It was only a second, but enough for Elgo in his interior stirred. When the song ended, the man stood up and walked toward her. "First time here?" he asked, with a smile that seemed a mixture of shyness and confidence. "Yes, I'm just passing through," she replied, unwilling to reveal too much. "I'm Adrián. I hope this place leaves you with good memories." Elena nodded, but said nothing more. However, something about Adrián resonated with her, old tabar familiar, like if her presence reminded her of a forgotten part of herself. During the following days, they met several times. On the beach, in the local market, in the same bar. Each instant, the encounter seemed casual, but the connection between them became stronger. One night, Adrián invited her to walk along the pier. The cold wind played with her hair, and the moon illuminated the water like a broken mirror. He told her his story. He had come to the town seeking peace after losing his wife in an accident. "Music is the only thing that has helped me move on," confessed Adrián. "But with you it's different. I don't know why, but I feel like I can breathe again." Elena listened in silence, feeling her own wounds begin to heal with his words. Without Bargo, a part of her still clung to the past, to the pain that Daniel had left her. Was it fair to open herself to someone new when she hadn't completely closed that chapter yet? The days passed, and Elena and Adrián drew closer. He taught her to play the piano. She told him about her forgotten dreams of being a writer. But just when it seemed that both were ready to leave behind their scars, the past returned to test them. One afternoon, while Elena was walking through the town, she saw someone she never expected to find there. Daniel. Her heart stopped for a moment. He approached, with a repentant look and hands in his pockets. "I looked for you in Madrid, but nobody knew where you were," he said. "I need to talk to you." Elena listened to him, although each word of his filled her a cloud of confusion. Daniel confessed that he had made a mistake, that the other woman meant nothing, that he wanted to start again with her. But while he spoke, Elena could only think of Adrián, in what they had shared in such a short time. That night, Elena sat alone on the beach, watching the waves crash against the rocks. She knew she had to make a decision, but both options frightened her. Teraband. If she returned with Daniel, she would be betting on a love that had already proven to be fragile. If she chose Adrián, she would have to face the fear of starting over. When Adrián appeared behind, as for her, she said nothing. She simply sat beside him, letting the silence speak for them. Elena looked at him, and in his eyes, she found something she had never seen in Daniel. Peace. I don't know what to do, she admitted, her voice breaking. Adrián took her hand and squeezed it gently. You don't have to decide now, but no matter what happens, I want you to know that you're not alone. That night, Elena took the most difficult decision of her life. She didn't choose Daniel nor Adrián. She chose herself. She needed time to heal, to discover who she was, without depending on anyone else. She said goodbye to both with tears, as in the eyes, promising herself that someday she would return to love, but from a place of strength, not fear. And so, with a broken heart but full of hope, Elena boarded the train that would take her to a new beginning. Subscribe and comment and